the one drinking beer. I'm drinking water.
2 touchdowns a game?
Yes, in the game.
You're tripping.
How you high? No,
It is high
Super Bowl time.
I don't know what we're doing in the front office, man.
Twiddling our fucking dick.
Ryan, I just need you to drink this.
Wide receiver trivia. That's what she said.
Her.
What the fuck?
Her upset.
Are those crutches?
You can see Ryan's crutches.
What is going on, folks? What is going on? Welcome back to your favorite show on the internet. This is After Further Review, episode 289. You can hear us, you can see us, as far as I'm concerned. I'm your co-host, Jalen Brown.
I am the one you always love to hate because I'm always right, Malin Dennis.
I'm your other great co-host, Nestor.
I'm your other great co-host, June Bugsbane.
And the bard of bad takes, the count of continually being wrong, the lord of ludicrous. It is your G-Money.
Lord of Ludicrous. Gotta love it.
Shout out to Ludacris.
Gentlemen, let's go ahead and start off the show by taking a nice cheers. Let's cheers to a good episode. Let's also cheers to just crossing the 3,000 subscriber mark.
That's
Earlier
Sunkist.
today. Is that a diet Sunkist too?
Drinking.
Anything.
I mean, not even real sun-kissed diet crap. Jeez.
I'm hitting my calorie deficit, guys.
There it is. 3K.
And to the Western Conference champs in the NHL.
In the NHL, folks, not the NBA. Something specific there. All right. We're going to have a good show tonight. I can feel it in my bones because the Atlanta Dream and the Minnesota Lynx are putting on a tear in the WNBA right now. So I know if you're heavily distracted by that game, it's going to be hard to focus on this episode, but try your best. Let's lock in here. So we're going to get things started off by talking about the NBA playoffs and where they currently stand. Shout out to the one and only Bridget Foley in the chat, putting Knicks colors into the live chat. Go ahead and ban permanently. And there we go. All right. So, speaking of the Knicks advanced to the finals officially as of a couple days ago. Swept the Cavs in 4 quick games. And yeah, they are through. Cavs are off to Lake Michigan or wherever they're going. G-Money, what did you think about how this series went?
Well, I don't think any of us were surprised. The one thing I will say about the Knicks, though, and they started doing this right after the All-Star break, they started playing defense. And they started playing good defense, which is something that was not synonymous with the Knicks the last few years. And that being said, they also used the bench a lot. The other thing that obviously the previous coach had no clue who those were sitting on their sideline there, that they were actually players he could use. And so, yeah, Katz played defense, which is surprising because he didn't do that in Minnesota. Brunson is Brunson. He's hardworking. He's consistent. And sometimes that's all you want from your point guard is someone to be consistent. You know, I don't need you to have a 60-point night and then come back and have a 12-point night. You give me 20, 25 points a game, yeah, we can build on that. And the Cavaliers, well, you know, on the positive, you made the Eastern Conference Finals. On the negative, I don't know what the fuck you're going to have next year, because Harden doesn't play defense, and when people play defense against him, at least the older Harden, he has a hard time. He does. And you're gonna have to try and extend Donovan Mitchell. You know, you got problems. You got a lot of problems. And praying and hoping that LeBron decides he's going to sign up for one last tour and bring you a championship, doubtful that's ever fucking happening. I mean, I don't know what you're smoking, but it's got to be some really good shit. And you should probably be sharing that with maybe some other people, because I just don't see it. You know, this was your shot, Cleveland. You couldn't do it. You're not going to do it next year. Definitely not next year. You know, you're going to be the same team you were like last year, except with an older Harden, a slower Harden, and someone who doesn't play defense.
June.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the Knicks and to New York in general, man. Great thing for the NBA to get the Knicks into the finals. It's a positive thing. It's not a negative. I know you Boston fans don't want to hear that, but it is a negative to see them into the finals. Okay, we needed this. We did not want to see the Cavs. We did not want to repeat of last year to see two Midwestern teams out there dry humping each other in the damn finals. Okay, we didn't want to see that crap again. Okay, nobody wanted to see that. We needed this. We need a big market. As NBA fans, you want the big markets to be in there because this just showcases the talent that's in the NBA. So I think this is a perfect thing. And you know what? For the Knicks, they needed this. The Knicks needed this because I feared that if this team didn't make the finals, I feared that this team was probably going to get broken up, that they were going to piece this team out. Because at some point, you're going to have to. You can't just keep going to the thing and then hitting your head against the wall. And that's where the Knicks were headed over the last couple of years. They were just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they finally got over that hump. And G Money is spot on. They started playing defense after the All-Star break. The defense went up, the numbers went up, and good Lord, the scoring. When you get the fast break points was immaculate. Ever since the second half of the first game of this series, they just outscored the Cleveland Cavaliers on fast break points. It was awesome. And so shout out to them. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, you got two choices. You can either break this team up, you call up the Washington Wizards, and you say, hey, you got the number one pick. We got Donovan Mitchell here. If you throw us a couple of pieces, we'll throw you some pieces. You give us a number one pick for a couple of pieces. You can go that route. You can get rid of Harden and try to bring somebody else in. Or, which I think would be the smart thing for them, is that you look at Giannis, you call Milwaukee right now, and you start trying to work out a deal to get Giannis in here because you need that. LeBron is not the answer, G Money. You're right again. LeBron's not the answer. He's not going to help you. You have a better chance of making the finals and without James Harden, by the way, this is without James Harden, is you bringing in Giannis into this crowd. And you got somebody that's a little bit younger, but a guy who's been to the finals and won a championship and been an MVP. And you pair him up with Donovan Mitchell. And you get some veteran leadership on this team because Harden is not the veteran leadership that you thought he was. And who was Schroeder, not the veteran leadership you thought the guy was going to be. They need some other pieces on this team. The ones they have currently, it's not working.
The German Jumpman was not the leader that you thought he was going to be. Go ahead, man.
We got some kudos on this show, man. We gotta give it up to Mike Brown. Gotta give it up to Mike Brown. That man was disrespected by Cleveland. They thought that he was the reason why they weren't winning finals with LeBron James and not the talent that they were putting on the roster around him. So he goes to New York to a team that damn near went to the finals last year. And there was a lot of pressure on him to get to the finals. Like, they're like, hey, you know what? We think Thibodeau was the reason he didn't get there. So, like, you're supposed to be the missing link. The team's good enough to get there. They were above average during the regular season, but we never really looked at them as a threat because they didn't play any defense. And all they did was just run roughshod all over the East. And every time I saw them win a playoff game, it pissed me off just thinking about the Celtics squandering that 3-1 lead because I would have loved to have seen a Boston New York rematch in the playoffs. And like I know Missoula won Coach of the Year, but if you were to include the playoffs, Mike Brown probably wins Coach of the Year for getting the Knicks in the finals. And I don't know, every day that the Knicks played great, and every day that I see SGA underperform in the finals, I see Wemby having a weird game yesterday. It's like I no longer feel like it's like a foregone conclusion that the Knicks like can't win the title against these two teams. They've played the most consistent, great basketball of any other team. The Spurs and Thunder are great teams, I believe, but they've been up and down. Like when you think that one of them is just going to put their foot on the throat of the other team, they can't seem to do it. In this series, but we saw the Knicks, man, just run all over everybody. So I think that they hold the record for the starting five for the most points, in the Eastern playoffs, like ever, which is pretty wild. But Cleveland, I don't really want to spend a lot of time talking about Cleveland. We all know what they need to do. Harden, Jesus Christ. Mitchell is not going to get you over the hump. I know that, there's all that talk about LeBron James. I think LeBron James is going to stay with the Lakers. So I think there's just a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of what ifs about this Cleveland team the last 2 years that for whatever reason couldn't get over the hump. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't care about Cleveland. But congratulations, Knicks, even though I didn't want to see him in the finals. I was right there with you. I was going to raise my hand, Jalen. I was going to raise it a little late as June was talking, but then he started talking about dry humping and cornfields. And I was like, I'm going to down. I'm going to keep my hand down. But yeah.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Yeah, I think that on one side, I think the Knicks might have found some consistency. But then again, I feel like all they've played is beaten tired teams. The East has been, for the most part, a cakewalk. And it kind of shows a little bit in stats, like they dominated in rebounds and fast break points. So it just didn't really seem like they had much competition. Whatever was left of the 76ers and after that the Cavs just didn't seem like real competition. I just don't see the Cavs on their side as a smart organization. The fact that they signed Harden in itself reinforces that. Plus all the decisions they've made over the years, they're just not that type of organization. They should continue to build around younger players, and then bring another like guy in his prime to help out with that. But I have no idea where signing Harden was supposed to get them. As for the Knicks heading into the final, I think this might be the greatest worst thing that could happen for New York. And for some reason, at the center of this is Brunson, who's getting all this hate about who his wife is, what he did on Saturday night, or these random things, and the guy's usually quiet. So no hate for the team. I think they're great. I have no idea what New York is going to look like in a few weeks, so that'll be interesting.
Oh man, I have not seen the Brunson flaming. Guess I'm on a different side of the internet. I'll stay right over there. I don't want to show that man any kind of sympathy. The Knicks, I'll give you guys a little 15 seconds of fame here. Nice job. Congratulations. You made it through. It only took you my entire lifetime for you to get back to a finals. But hey, it's all right. You got there. And we'll get to the path that you got there in the comments because there's more to say about that. But now on to the Cavaliers, who pooped their pants for 4 straight games and tries to disguise it as playoff basketball. June, you mentioned it. The fast break points in game 4 specifically, there was just a stretch where the Knicks were just sprinting down the court on every rebound and turnover. It was just like, are we playing in someone's backyard? Like, why you keep letting them cherry pick on every single possible fast break? It's like fundamental basketball, church league, middle school. If you're north of the free throw line, get your ass back on defense. If you're south, you go crash the glass and get a rebound. Why are all 5 Cavaliers standing flat-footed on every single shot that goes up and just looking at each other? Like, they clearly did not want to be there and were ready for their offseason to begin. I'm assuming after that game 1 loss, they were just like, well, we don't belong on the same floor as these guys, so let's not drag this thing on any longer than it needs to be. That was just embarrassing. The term "you should be ashamed of yourselves" I don't think is any more fitting than with these guys here. The future of this team, I have no idea where they're going to go. They shot themselves in the foot by bringing Harden there. I do know that they've got a team option with him, so they can kind of decide what they want to do going forward. Something tells me he'll probably end up staying there. It's a real shame that they got rid of Garland to get him. But the funny trend in the East over the past like 4 or 5 years with the team that has lost the Eastern Conference Finals has gone to the finals the following year for like literally the past like 4 or 5 consecutive years, like Miami, Boston, Boston twice.
Well, that trend's gonna end.
Indiana, yeah. Factually, that trend is done. That is it. So that's kind of unfortunate, but yeah, I don't think LeBron's going there either. That just why? It makes absolutely no sense for him to go pick up and go back for the 3rd time. So, yeah, Cavs, thank you for making that a complete waste of everybody's time. Just everybody involved. But let's move on over to the Western Conference Finals, where the Spurs are down 2-3 against the Thunder. Thunder won last night in pretty convincing fashion. Some questionable calls down the stretch. A lot of talk about who's getting the whistle and who's not. That's been kind of the story of this whole series so far, but last night was bizarre. G Money, you can go ahead first.
Yeah, I'm not even going to touch on the calls because you see those. You see bad calls. And you should never see bad calls in the playoffs. See them in the regular season, okay, that's regular season, but you should never see them in the playoffs. These ostensibly the referees are the best, and that's why they're doing the playoffs. So there should be no bad calls. It seemed like with about 7.5 minutes left in the 4th that San Antonio just gave up. They said, fuck it. Threw in the towel and said that was it. One of the things I've noticed, first game of this series, they had Holmgren Chet Holmgren on Wimby. That didn't work. So, and in fact, they kind of rotated him and Dork, and that really didn't work. So from game 2 on, they had both their 7-footers out there. They had him and Harkenstein, and had Harkenstein playing Wemby, and when Wemby would get the ball close to the hoop, then you would have Chet Holmgren close in on him as well. So you've got 2 7-footers, even though you're 7'4". It's kind of hard to get up and get past both of them. I kept wondering why San Antonio didn't put in Corbett. Why they didn't do a matchup there with their 2 7-footers. I mean, you've got great guard play. My God, you've got 3 point guards that are all great guards, right? I mean, you've got Castle, you've got Derek, and you've got DeAndre Fox or Cassell. Yeah, so you've got all of these. You've got great guards. You don't need to play 4 guys that are basically guard small forwards and Wimby. Put your other center out there. Put him out there to take up space, to cover Chet. Because Chet Holmgren, I swear to God, he has no clue what weights are because he needs to work out. He really does need to work out. And if you do that, then you basically eliminate him. So then Wemby's going against Hartenstein, and I think he can dominate Hartenstein. I really think he can. But you can't have him going against 2 7-footers. Wemby isn't that player yet. He's going to be, but he isn't quite that player yet where he's going to truly dominate 2 7-footers at the same time. And I think, and you saw that, right? I mean, you saw the fact that Wemby wasn't getting the rebounds. He wasn't getting the points that he needed to get. And that was because OKC played damn good defense on him. And they dared everybody else to beat them. And at times, I mean, when we talk about the Knicks and Cleveland not running, at times that's what you saw out of both OKC and San Antonio was running. And at times they were like out of control running. It wasn't like running, okay, there's my wing, I'm passing to him because he's open. No, it was running and oh shit, I'm doing 60 and a 30 and I need to stop in like 3 feet. Fuck, I can't. Let me eject the ball. Let me get rid of the ball and bad passing. So I hope San Antonio gets it together. I understand they're a young team to be in the playoffs anyway. I mean, age-wise, they're probably the second youngest team in the NBA. I think Utah may be the youngest. But OKC's been there. OKC, like, hey, we are the champs. We're the champs for a goddamn reason. And you may have taken that first game on our home court, but you are goddamn not taking the last game on our home court. We will beat you. We'll go to San Antonio and we will beat you there.
June.
Yeah, I think it's come down to the bench play of both teams. OKC's bench is outplaying San Antonio's bench right now, and that's what we're seeing. And that trend is trending up in OKC's favor. And I think this is still going 7 games, but I want to say this is that for San Antonio to win, they are going to have to play, the starters are going to have to play longer minutes. If they go to a game 7, I think they can pull out game 6, but they go to game 7, the starters are going to have to stay out there longer because right now they got Wemby, and I don't know if you guys picked this up or heard this, they do have Wemby on the minutes. On a minutes thing right now. And I think that's kind of hurting the team because he goes out at the same time every single game, and OKC has picked up the pattern and is starting to take advantage of it. They did it yesterday. before he went out, I believe San Antonio had a lead. As soon as he went out, they ate that lead up and took the game over from that point on. They are going to have to. They want to manage his minutes. We get it. No, you can't do that anymore. If you want to win a championship, your starter has to be out there. Not saying he has to be out there for the full 48, but the starter needs to be out there at least 42 minutes. He only needs 2 minutes at the end of each quarter because resting him when you get 7 minutes in, they're just going to keep taking advantage of it. And your bench is not good enough, San Antonio, to play bench on bench. OKC's bench is better. And one thing that they're doing, they're leaving SGA out there. If you watched it yesterday, SGA stays out there when the benches come out, and he's just taking advantage of them. So that's something that's one of the reasons why OKC is got this lead the way they do in this series. So
Go ahead, Malin.
I tell you, I don't fucking like it. I don't like it. I don't like any time where the Oklahoma City Thunder are one game away from going back to the finals. Something else I don't like. I don't like how the Thunder's bench has scored more points than any team in a 5-game playoff series so far, in 5 games in a playoff series since 1983. Don't like that either. I don't like Wemby scoring less than 20 points and being on a minutes restriction. Not a fan of that. Definitely don't like Caruso. Also don't like the calls. But I can't really complain about the calls or blame the Thunder about that because that's on the refs. If the refs want to call a lazy ass game and just give the Thunder everything they want, then that's what the refs are going to do, I guess. I mean, the fact that SGA has made 120 free throws and 114 field goals in the playoffs is just insane to me. You blow on him, and he falls over. Like I don't know. The way that it's just such bad basketball to watch. And so here's the one thing I do like is that everybody hates OKC. And I love that. They hate their style of play. They hate the way they play basketball. They hate the calls they get. It's worse than, watching San Antonio back with Duncan and Ginobili and all them winning titles because it was a slow brand of ball, right? Well, this is just like you got 5 James Hardens out there and, they just keep falling down and getting to the line. So I love that everyone's dogging on them. And they're like the most unliked defending champion that we've had in a very long time. Even more so than like Miami. Everyone hated Miami when they won that championship and they were going for the two-peat. And everyone was like, oh, super teams, yada, yada. Like, not even Miami got this much hate. So it took the Warriors a few championships before people started hating them. But as far as San Antonio goes, I still believe that they can do it. I'm hoping they take Game 6. Wemby has the potential to play out of his mind. I think they have to go ahead and stop the minutes restriction on Wemby. I do think they will do that. I think they were trying to conserve some more energy for like if they could have gotten that game and then gone back to Game 6 in San Antonio, and then you're starting to think about finals and how rested he could be because he's not used to playing a lot of minutes, and he's played a lot of minutes in this series. But I think they're gonna take the wheels off of that training wheels off again. I think we'll see him play a lot. But it's been a good but frustrating series because I hate the Thunder, and I think we all know that. So, welcome.
Nestor.
Yeah, I think you guys summed it up pretty well. When OKC was kind of quietly building their team with these young players, they really weren't in the radar of most people as far as like teams slated for success in a few years. And I kind of kept an eye on them also on Chet, and I think, like June said, bench play matters in this series. It's the biggest factor here. I like that Wemby has become the player that he has become. I think it's great for the league. Um, I I don't like San Antonio that much. I'm still bitter about what happened years and years ago when it was one of those years LeBron was supposed to win it with the Heat and Tim Duncan, and yeah, still bitter about that one. So I don't really like San Antonio, but I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Wemby, and I think it has been obviously the better series out of anything we've had from the East. So yeah, I think bench play is important, and they're quietly just like they're just consistent. And I think they're gonna eventually win out the series.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna have a game seven, presumably is sometime this weekend. It's like Saturday or Sunday, whatever. But yeah, the minutes restriction was weird, especially last night, because it definitely just seemed like the Spurs had good momentum going, and then they just whistle blew and they said, "All right, when we come sit down." I would just ask him, like, "You feeling all right? Okay, cool. You're gonna stay out there until he comes to me and says, I need a breather. You stay out there as long as you want to, because at this point, I mean, like you said, Malin, now they have to, because you cannot afford to lose from this point going forward. So something tells me he's gonna have some pretty crazy minutes these next, hopefully, 2 games. But
Hopefully.
last night's game was so difficult to watch, especially the second half. The first half was really good, but the second half was just the whistle being blown every other second. There was a point where I think it was like a blatant missed call or something that was very obvious. I don't remember what it was, but Mitch Johnson was trying to get a challenge in, and the refs just like ignored him. And then he obviously flipped his top, and then they hit him with the tech, and he's representing Key Kean with Luke Dort after that, and it's like the whole thing was just a bad look. And
Yeah.
I don't buy into obviously any conspiracy stuff, but for the people that do, this is the kind of stuff that just feeds the flames. They're like, see, it is rigged. Exhibit A. And it's like the NBA has got to do something about this, because it's just like when it comes to that team in particular, it's a bit ridiculous. SGA shooting 17 free throws last night is unbelievable. The man had 32 points, and half of them came from the free throw line. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Should not be happening. Yes, I can't blame the Thunder for it. I am blaming the NBA and the refs though, because that shouldn't just be allowed to happen. Is what I'm saying. But for the Spurs, their bench has got to step up big time, because they're getting completely outworked, out hustled. Harper, now that he's back on the bench, I don't know, his superpowers just went away, because he looks like a rookie bench player again. Bryant, he's very hit or miss. He runs hot, but sometimes the energy can go whether it's way up or way down, and it's like, what are you doing? He's like the definition of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But OKC's bench is doing what they usually do. They're being efficient, and they are just filling in the gaps. Whatever needs to be done, they just fill in the gaps. But yeah, if the Spurs want to win this series, bench has got to play better, and Wemby's got to play better. He's got to figure something out on offense, because what we saw last night was not it. That's not going to be enough, not nearly enough to get them to the finals. So.
And the other thing about the officiating, Jalen, is if there's one league it doesn't get any like wiggle room or like the benefit of the doubt when it comes to officiating or whether or not you have officials that have fixed games, like it's the NBA. Like you have to be
Right.
like you can't have any appearance of anything. And so like what you said with the ref was, ignoring the challenge and then hitting with the technical and geeking with the other team after. Like the NBA can't have that.
Yeah.
in the conference finals. I'm not saying that anything nefarious is happening.
Mhm.
It's not. It's just the refs are just. This is how they've decided they want to call the game or whatever. But it's just not a good look. And this league more than any other can't afford not to have like a squeaky clean image in the playoffs.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, the league that started off with a gambling scandal at the very beginning of the season should not be ending with more foul play
Or question
accusations.
marks.
Right.
All right. Let's get in. Before we get to news, I just wanted to mention that we do have a Discord. It is free to join. It's down in the description below. If you want to just click that link, it'll take you right to our Discord. And that's where you'll find us talking ball throughout the rest of the week instead of just once a week here on the podcast. So shout out to Damien in the chat. Appreciate you stopping through. Appreciate the kind words. Yeah. Join the Discord, folks, down in the description below. With that being said, let's get to the news. And we're going to start off with, Josh Jacobs. It's seemingly every offseason. There's always one who gets caught up. Domestic violence charges he got arrested on yesterday. I won't go into all of the details, but yeah. I don't know if is he still behind bars, like still in handcuffs here, or has he?
No,
bonded out?
they released him. No, they didn't even bond him out. The DA released him because they didn't feel like they had enough evidence at this time to prefer charges. So they're doing a more in-depth investigation. But as of right now, there are no charges pending, and he's out free.
They do have two witnesses to some of the charges that were talked about, but I saw that they let him go on his own recognizance, but they told him not to leave the state. So
I'll tell you what, though, if there's two witnesses, and the DA's like, we ain't got a case, man. I'd be like, does that bitch got season tickets, or is he going to have suite?
right.
Is he going to have access to Jacob's, suite over there? But all I say is this: NFL players, anybody, and NFL players are worse than other leagues.
Mhm.
Keep your fucking hands to yourself. Like, just stop it.
You're too big for that shit.
Understand what it is with the NFL players. Like, I don't see outside of Trevor Bauer, I don't see accusations of baseball players beating the hell out of women or choking them or anything like that. I don't see that in the NBA, unless I'm just completely forgetting about somebody. But NFL players, man, it's like, fucking take a break. It's the off season. It doesn't have to be full contact in the off season. All right. Maybe they need to bring back pads into OTAs and shit. You let people get some hits in, so they stop hitting women. But just keep your hands to your fucking selves. God damn.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you would think after the Ray Rice situation that some of these guys would just learn to control their emotions. And the thing is, teams have hired all these people for you to talk about your feelings and your frustrations and stuff like that. And it's like, dude, take advantage of all these resources that you have in front of you. And they still won't do it. And you're right, Maitland. Every single season, we have one or two of these little incidents in the offseason of the NFL. It's either somebody killing somebody in a DUI, or it's domestic violence. Every single year. Last year, we have Tyrese Hill, right? Tyreek Hill last year? And oh my God, man.
Stephon Diggs was last year. Tyreek was a couple years ago.
I thought Tyreek was at the beginning of the season, remember? When there was something with Tyreek at the beginning. Oh, that was with the cop.
The fact that there's too many of them.
There's too many of them. They're starting to run into each other because they have it so much.
Years ago.
Exactly.
14 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, and there was video evidence.
Yep.
And everyone talks about Ray Rice, and everyone forgets about Alden Smith throwing a chick 4 feet onto a bed of assault rifles. Like, I mean, what the fuck does the NFL do? I
Yeah,
understand,
it
man.
is a
I don't-
twofold thing that I don't. Yes, I don't know why it seems like more than any other sport. Maybe it's the concussion thing catching up to them. I don't know, but why they can't seem to physically control themselves. Also, though, kind of makes me wonder, like the company they keep. It's like, why do these dudes keep getting caught up with these crowds of people that clearly want to get into all kinds of altercations and push buttons and make things messy? And it's like, either other sports, the dudes just have miraculously all have better self control, or maybe NFL dudes are attracted to a certain kind of people. Maybe a combination of both. Probably somewhere in between. But
I will say this
strange.
about the company you keep, though, Jalen, is that like John Morant has kept questionable company around him, and he ain't out there beating on people. You know what I mean?
Well, he
I
has
just
people to do that for him.
I don't get it. But I also will say this: you could also take the Bill Burr side of not everybody just walks into an ass whooping and it not be like things are said. So I do think that the other sex, like, hey, you know what? Like, if you see someone start twitching and you're thinking concussion, get out of the situation. Like, don't fuck around with these goddamn head explosion people. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it needs to stop. The NFL needs to do something. It's not going to hurt them. They're still going to make $10 billion next year.
Exactly.
But all it could take is for one of these stars to like kill one of these girls.
Right.
And that's when it like they just snap and kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's really bad for the league. So they need to do something about it because we can't be having. I mean, now it's happening in Green Bay. Like I know there's not a lot to do in Wisconsin. Maybe eat cheese and hit women. I don't know. But maybe like I don't know. Just stupid. There's no excuse.
I don't see the NFL to prevent something like that. You have to know the people involved. The NFL is not going to waste their time or money to do that. They're going to figure that the teams will give you that little speech. They'll tell you what you should and shouldn't do, and if you have issues, this is who you can talk to. But I think a lot of it stems from high school, college, where you're protected. That you're there to play football and bring championships. So you get a level of protection that most other people don't get. So you feel privileged. So when you go out and you're making millions of dollars and you get in an argument with your woman and all of a sudden you feel like she's going to take that money from you, you snap. Is it right? No. Do you need anger management? Most definitely. But they've never had anger management, and they've probably had anger issues in college and maybe even in high school. We see Shadur Sanders, not Shadur, but Shiloh Sanders, who's no longer in the NFL and had an 11.7, was it 11.75, $11.26 million judgment from high school, from where he assaulted a security guard. So yeah, and he can't pay that. He tried to declare bankruptcy, but you can't declare bankruptcy from that. And it's just about you think you can get away with things. You think it doesn't matter. You think you are protected, but you're not. And you guys are right. Ray Rice wasn't protected when he did it, and he was a starting running back. You start doing stupid shit, you're not going to have a job.
No.
And that money you were making goes away.
Quick.
Yeah. So, the answer probably would be if teams notice anger issues with some of their players, that's when they pull them aside. That's when they get them help. Because if you see the anger issues on the field or during training camp, then you know that will translate into your private life. And we tend to think, when we see a dust up during practice, oh yeah, that's just guys being guys. That's what they do. Well, you don't see it all the time. And when that happens, okay, why did it happen? Oh, he was holding me, or he did this, or he said something. And it's like, he said something to me. Well, you're an adult. Be an adult. Yeah, he called you a name. So fucking what? Does that affect anything? Does that affect your paycheck? No, it does not. However, you let that affect you on the field and you get violent. When you go home and your girl says something to you and you snap, that's another issue that you could find yourself in jail. Teams need to, at that point, on the field when you get violent, pull you off to the side. Say, no, we can not only know this cannot happen, but we're going to send you to one of our therapists. Yeah, sit down and talk with them. We're going to figure out how to move forward with this, because we can't have outbursts like that. And we've all seen it. We've all seen players on our teams have outbursts either during the preseason, in practice, or actually in games. And you're like, dude, you're making $8 million. What the hell are you doing? Well, if you see it there, at some point that is going to translate into their personal life, and they're going to do the same thing. And that's where it's up to the teams to do something and try and stop it at that point. I don't know if the NFL itself can do it, but definitely teams can.
All right. Let's keep it moving along to some NHL news. That is not a shooting star, folks. That is your favorite show on the internet giving NHL news. The Vegas Knights on to the Stanley Cup Finals. As you can see here, June very pronouncedly showing his jersey right now. June, how excited are you, sir?
Oh, I'm so happy, man. It's, ever since the first day that they took the ice, it's been like a whirlwind, because everybody remembers that how they were born. They was born from blood, with the shootings in Vegas that year. That was the same year in 2017. Because the shootings happened, and a couple of weeks later, the Vegas Knights had to go out and play some hockey matches, and the city needed that at the time. So to see them continuously win and continuously evolve as a team, and let me tell you something: people remember this. They fired their head coach in the playoffs. The head coach, they fired him. And now they're in the finals. And, and Bruce Cassidy brought him a championship. But the problem is when the egos start to fight one another, and you think you're bigger than the team, and the team says, well, let's see. Let's see what we're going to do without you. And guess what? Now they're sitting in the finals. And everybody is happy. Everybody in Vegas is happy. And not only they in the final, they destroyed Colorado to get to the finals. Colorado was the Cleveland Cavs of the NHL doing this run. So hats off to the Vegas Golden Knights. We're going for another one, baby. 3 finals in 9 years. Hey, it's a beautiful thing in hockey.
Congratulations, June. I feel like and even though you had nothing to do with this, I feel like I owe you a congrats on being a
He's got to have something. And exactly. He's a Cowboys fan and Mavericks fan.
June was a backseat GM for the Golden Knights. That's what he was. He was like, no, we're going to fight. Kudos. And this is how a well-run team, you fire your head coach. And actually, they fired him 6. I think there were 6 games before
Yeah,
the playoffs.
6 games,
6 or
yeah.
7 games. Yeah, but he's not the only one. Before, was a few years ago when they fired their other head coach after he had won them a championship. And like, yeah, you're not cutting it. You're gone. You don't see teams do that in any sport. Where like, okay, yeah, we're not winning. You're not doing your job. You're gone.
Yeah.
Most teams, whether it be NHL, NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball, if you win a chip, that gives you some grace period. Gives you anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Not with the Golden Knights. You're not taking us back. We took it to step backwards. Hit the road. We'll get someone else in, and we'll win. And there's a lot of teams in all different sports that should take a lesson from that. Is that don't hold on to a coach too long.
Right.
That ship has an expiration date, and that expiration date should be as soon as your team is playing bad.
Get him out of there.
Yep.
You know what we should talk about, Jalen? Because June's happy right now, so this is something we should talk. We should talk about how the Mavericks at one time both had Luka and Brunson, lost them both. How the fuck that happened, June?
That's not on the rundown.
What happened?
Good segue.
That's
I'm
not on
just
the
saying.
rundown.
I'm just saying.
They had Porzingis too, right?
Yeah, they have
That's not-
Porzingis. He went out there and won it.
This is not on the rundown.
Yeah.
And they have all 3 at the same time on the same team.
You are not going to steal my joy tonight.
That is a good segue. Speaking
I'm just fucking
of
with you, June.
Brunson. Also, speaking of Vegas, the Aces coach, Becky Hammond, she was 2 years ago, I think, was quoted and basically saying you cannot win a championship with a small guard being the best player on the team. And she was talking about Jalen Brunson. And now that the Knicks are through to the finals, a lot of the Knicks faithful are now pulling up the receipts and saying, what now? Knicks fans, I do want you to just remember that the Eastern Conference is not the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Just want you to be aware of that now. The job is not done. You still have more basketball to play. So there is that. But she basically doubled down and said, we'll see what happens. But I said what I said. Any thoughts on Becky Hammond's stance here?
Well, I was going to say stats. Basically, if you look at it, she's right. I mean, you only had because Brunson's 6'2", right? I mean, it's kind of funny when you say 6'2" is small, but if you think about this, I can only think of 2 guards that were like 6'3" or below that were their number one scorers or the alpha basically player on their team that won championships. One was probably the greatest shooter of all time, and that's Steph Curry. And the other, and you have to go back to before most of you were born, Detroit with Isaiah Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Zeke.
Only 2 of them weren't born.
Zeke.
2 that were born.
Well, I mean,
We saw them finals.
guys. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure.
I was 12.
Yeah. See, now June may have seen the finals. I mean, but yeah, I mean, so when she says that, facts back her up. She's right. And maybe Brunson will be that guy. Maybe. But we'll see. Because
I get the whole history of the NBA thing, but if you had to reach as far back as Detroit to find someone that did it, then I understand the statement. But we just seen Steph do it 4 times in the last 9 years or something like that.
True, but on at least 2 of those teams, he wasn't the alpha. Durant. I think KD wants to enter the chat now.
Well,
I mean,
KD fuck up with his ashy ankles because he needed to go to a team that won a title so that he could win a title. But to me, what's weird about it is why a head coach from the WNBA is even making a comment like that. It just didn't make sense. And then to kind of like double down on it. And again, like I don't care that she doubled down on it. I mean, hey, you said what you said. You might as well there's no reason to take it back now because one, they still haven't done it. So I mean, she's now keeping receipts. Is a WNBA head coach that has won several titles. Now she's keeping receipts from all these fans. So if the Knicks do get obliterated in the finals, they're like, "What was all that talk?" Excuse me. What are we saying? So Knicks fans do need to pump the brakes. You're right, Jalen, because now she's saving up ammo in case they don't do it, and it really doesn't matter if the Knicks do win it. It doesn't matter that she said it. It really doesn't.
No.
She's still a champion in the WNBA. She's like I don't know what it is. Her beef with Brunson. I don't understand what that is. But it's that to me is a little weird. But I don't care that she said it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what the original context was of when she said that. I have no idea. I'm I'm just imagining something like random. She's like, yeah, and you know, we got fitted for our rings the other day. By the way, there's never been a small guard to ever win a championship, so Jalen Brunson's never gonna win. Like, I don't know where that was pulled in conversation.
I wonder if that was after the Knicks lost a couple of years ago.
Last
Could have
year,
been. Maybe it was last year's exit.
Yeah, the year before. The comment's a couple of years old. It's not a new recent. It's a couple of years old now. The comment.
And I know that the Liberty didn't the New York Liberty beat the Aces in the WNBA finals.
Yeah.
Maybe she was trying to throw some shade at another New York team. It still doesn't make sense.
Right. What was the I need to see what the context was why she would make that statement. It doesn't make any sense. She had no reason to make that statement. You know what I mean?
As far as
and the simple fact of the matter the simple fact of the matter is that yes, Jalen Brunson got a serious support system in Cat. He got a serious support system. So, and Cat's been playing out of his mind. This season, Cat's been playing some great basketball.
Been playing out of his mind. Playoff.
Yeah, this playoff, he's been playing out of his mind. So you got to give him some credit for that. And you know, with Jalen Brunson, with the way the NBA is played, I don't care about the big man versus small man. Because remember, how many people and G Money's gonna remember this? How many people told Chicago Bulls they were stupid for drafting a guard? A 6'6" guard out of North Carolina. How many? Yeah, well, it wasn't even that. Sam Bowie drafted before them, Joe. But they were saying you shouldn't build your team around a 6'6" guard. That's what they said. Not saying that Brunson's anywhere near Jordan, but I'm saying this talk has went on for years. This has been years that people said you can't build your team around a guard. And that's bullshit. Whether it's a big guard or a small guard, it's always been bullshit talk.
But we all know this whole thing is happening because of insecure, little-minded New York media and New York fans. Because if she had said this about, you know, Golden State before Curry won a chip, and then you really think Golden State fans would be like, Becky Hammond, man, we're gonna come for your ass? Right. No, it's these New York. It wouldn't be a story if it was any other team other than New York. Because for such a big city as they are, they have such a small-minded mentality of that they're always the fucking victim. And it's hilarious. And so for a team that hasn't won a title since 73, like instead of just celebrating, you got some people trolling the internet looking for fucking quotes that someone said 2 or 3 years ago so that they could, no one would give a shit.
That's the age we're in, man.
So it's like this is you think Brunson is playing as well as he's doing in the playoffs because he's like, I gotta prove Becky Hammond wrong. Like, no.
Go ahead, Nestor.
Just two things. I actually, well, I really went through TikTok and even the terrible thing that is Reddit. Find the worst possible Knicks comments on this because
Oh boy.
my initial thought is just because the stat is true doesn't mean that you have to make the point. I just think the entire point is weird, given from her perspective. But regardless of that, I tried to find comments from the Knicks fans, and the worst that I found was who, which I think for being Knicks fans, pretty damn tame. I'm sure I can find worse, but they've kind of been, very tame about the situation. I have no like. This is what I meant earlier. Brunson has said nothing. I barely hear a peep out of this dude,
No.
and you have all this going on for what? And if he proves her wrong, get ready because these Knicks fans are gonna go crazy.
Yeah, they are.
More fuel to the fire. The funny equivalent though, it is literally like almost every year in the NFL. What do we always hear about the mobile quarterback? You're never gonna win a championship with a mobile quarterback, and it's like, yeah, history has shown us that that has yet to really happen yet. And it's like, if Lamar Jackson goes to a Super Bowl, hasn't played yet, but went to a Super Bowl, I couldn't see Baltimore Ravens fans being like, you see, you see, we're about to do it. Like, what? Since the dawn of the NFL, we haven't seen this yet, and you're upset that it's been true up until this point, and possibly after it too. Oh, weirdo behavior.
Love it.
All right, we're gonna take a break, and on the other side, we got a bunch of comments to get to, and we have one game to pick, but it's Game 6 tomorrow night. So
Woohoo.
sit tight, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. So I turned this game off after the third quarter. I was like, this game's over. I'm going to sleep. Woke up, looked at our Discord, and said, what happened now? He said, get out of the way. Come on. James Harden's guarding me? Come on now. Harden's still on. He said, oh, come on. Harden again? How about? Man, why didn't they get Harden off of him? I know they obviously were just switching. The Knicks were just switching, but under no circumstance, after that last timeout, under no circumstance is Harden allowed to be on Jay Brunson. I don't give a damn what y'all got to do. Harden couldn't even cover that. James Harden, man. Like, he's not on Brunson, and then he couldn't cover Bridges in the corner. That's unbelievable. Wow, he did something, I guess. He said, I know I'm scoring this thing. Harden's on me. Easy. Oh! Mike Breen was about to say bang. I'm gonna skip ahead in overtime a bit because from what I understand, it was pretty one-sided in overtime. Yeah, they just, at this point, understandably, Cleveland just, like I said yesterday, Knicks in 5, man. You took the air right out of the Cavs sails. Whatever air they did have.
going to a Nets game because we're crazy heads and we saw that tickets were $10. We're gonna go see, who are we seeing?
The Jazz and the Nets. Common.
Two best teams in the NBA.
Yeah, they're the best at something.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going
Entertainment.
to the Barclays Center. I'm taking the train, subway, as you can see.
Yeah, there's like literally no one here.
Tip off is in like 5 minutes, so.
It already happened.
Oh, never mind. Game just started.
I've not been over here except driving. Shout out Rodney.
Yeah,
Mr. Brown.
Shout out my dad. Last time I saw the Nets play was with him in Orlando,
Yeah.
probably like a decade ago.
Do you have your favorite like grocery store?
Publix. I do literally like Trader Joe's though.
Yeah.
You have any bracelets on? Is it allowed to take those off?
It's like, are you kidding me? Me?
Just the same. Perfect. Okay, Bridget, what do you think of your spicy margarita?
It's not spicy. What's that place that was jungle something that we went in St. Pete? It's no concrete jungle, spicy marg, tequila, and mango puree, and then there's just tahini on the rim. So it's not the best, but it's a margarita, and there's enough of it to get me drunk for the next hour.
Jared McCain played so much better in the second half of last night's game. Good for him, man. He was feeling it. The Spurs tried to make a comeback here in the second half, but this didn't really matter. What you're not really going to see in the highlights, because they're just not highlights, is SGA on the free throw line. He had 17 free throw attempts last night. When we originally made our predictions, I did pick OKC to win the West, so it brings me no joy to say this, but he's getting a very favorable whistle, SGA is. And if you've been watching it all this year, you've already known that. It's been going on all season long, but it's just been on a very public stage, in the Western Conference Finals. But second half of this game was really just a runaway train for OKC. The first half was very good. That was like a kind of a back and forth deal. Great competition, man. Great defense being played, great strategy from both coaches. Complete opposite of what we saw in the Eastern Conference Finals, which that was like, LeBron's St. Mary's team versus the Wildcats from High School Musical. That whole series is just a waste of time. I'm not even talking about game in front of me at this point. Anyway, I think this thing is going 7.
Lakers look like they're in a zone here. Mitchell with a floater, no good over Ayton. Boy, Ayton cannot get a defensive rebound. He's around the ball so much, but just doesn't come down with it. Three-pointer, no good. Again, kept alive by Hartenstein and a foul. And this is what drive you mad.
Lakers are cracking me up, man. Let me tell you something. Redick has got DeAndre in his bags, boxes, documents, everything in order for him to ship up out of there after tonight.
You can't put two light hands on him and walk casually when Isaiah Hartenstein is trying to go get a rebound. That will not get it done. One defensive rebound for Ayton in 23 minutes played. The foul was on James. The turnaround jumper no good. And again, just standing around. Mitchell gets the offensive rebound. And Redick looks down to the bench to get somebody else's. Ayton pushes Mitchell, count the basket and one. And this is absolutely frustrating. Your playoff life is
The lady behind the bench cracked me up. Oh, the Lakers are a comedy show, man. They're just a walking sitcom. Look at Rui. Rui said, man, you are selling. What's wrong with you? One more game for them tonight, and we can finally wrap this up, man. Good God.
You don't have any draft picks, so you got to make some deals now. Ayton is not the answer. They got to get rid of this dude. If you got to get rid of LeBron, get rid of him.
They need 3-and-D players. They need to just keep LeBron. I'm sure he would take a bit of a pay cut. The man's not hurting for money. The Lakers just need to go sign 3-and-D players. That's all they need to complement Luka, LeBron, who are very good at distributing the ball, and you need an actual center. I think that's the harder part, is going out and finding a good center right now. Listen, man, even though the Knicks have had a cakewalk to the finals, I'll give them their flowers. They don't control who they play. I get it. Cleveland was so awful at closing out quarters this entire postseason. Landry Shamet played out of his mind this series. No, Cat, they're not going to fight. The fast break points in the first half.
Fakes a three, sidestep, another three-pointer, puts it in. Knicks are red hot once again. Mobley had a good start.
Effing Mobley. He sold this game. All the usual suspects were having fire sales this game. I think this is going to be a very good finals, regardless of which team comes out of the West. I'll tell you this much, though. The cakewalk is going to be over, though. Whoever comes out of the West, they ain't just going to roll over like Philly and Cleveland did.
Dean Wade has been out on that goddamn court for 23 minutes. Hasn't taken a single fucking shot. Got 6 rebounds. That's it in 23 minutes. You might as well just have these teams in like North Dakota and Montana. Like, it's the same fucking thing.
I could imagine those states being like, we did nothing to deserve that. We'd rather not.
Welcome back, folks at home. Yeah, sorry. Second half of the show coming back at you. And we have got plenty of comments to get into, plenty of stuff to read from you people at home. TikTok remains undefeated. But before we do that, let's take a second half cheers.
I will not take any shit this time.
Nice.
I have some wine. That's why I took off my jersey. I didn't want to spill it on my jersey.
No, when I first saw that, I was like, is the parade already over? We already...
No,
But then I saw the wine glass.
I'm a spiller, and I would spill this on my...
I was like,
oh, yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Fry off the floor before, so he don't want to spill no wine.
Vegas, Nestor and June in the same space. The two spillers.
Gallons of beers being spilled.
Shout out to Open Gym TV in the live chat. Appreciate you coming through, showing love in the second half. Yeah, let me bring up some comments here to read from this past week. All right, let me start off with TikTok over on the Knicks. Yeah, let me do the social media stuff first, then we'll get back to the James Harden thing just because I have TikTok already in front of me. So let's go with the Knicks making the finals. Yes, I did say that the Knicks had a cakewalk to the finals. And obviously the Knicks fans did not take the most kindly to that, but that's not my problem. Let's start off with JVD saying Cleveland beat the first seed and the team's been healthy. Okay. Someone else said Nick's been fully healthy, LOL, and they just flop every shot.
Oh gosh.
Cam Gears says, bro, what are you on right now? Have you seen the last 11 games? Yes, that is the cakewalk I'm referring
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, we have.
Banjo TK says, so we aren't going to talk about the cakewalk. The two teams in the Western Conference Finals have had to get there. Be for real.
I said that in the break.
But
Against the
how
Thunder.
is this a cakewalk when both of these teams, when you arguably have the two best teams playing each other?
Well, now they're having to play somebody.
now.
I get
Up
it.
until
Now
this
they're having
point.
to play
Okay.
Up until this point, it was pretty easy for the Thunder to do what they did against the Suns and the Lakers. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I got to be honest, I don't even remember who San Antonio played in the first round.
Portland.
Yeah, Portland and
easy too.
And Minnesota.
Yeah.
Connor says every year, every team has a cakewalk. You guys are miserable. Greg Licious says cakewalk. This is a generational run.
Okay. No.
Okay, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
The New York fans.
Come on, bro.
I
Come
can't
on, bro.
defend one New York fan and then someone else come out here and say it's a generational run. Like who?
Yeah.
First of all, when have you had a generational run in the East in the last 15 years? Like, it's Boston fans. Like, the generational runs are happening in the West.
Mm-hmm. Unless you had a run like Dirk Nowitzki had to run through, that's not a generational run.
New York got June able to talk about the Mavericks.
Yeah, there we are.
The Mavericks beat San Antonio. They beat Kobe, and then they beat LeBron. The big three in Miami. That's a generational run.
Shout out to Ryan in the chat. We gotta have Ryan back on. It says generational run is crazy when they were ready to fire Mike Brown in the first round.
Yeah, it wasn't not a generational run.
When they lost to Atlanta, those couple games, they had the pitchforks and Timbs ready to go to boot them up out of there. But now it's generational run.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I get what they're saying. I mean, yeah, it is a generational run for the Knicks because they haven't done this since 1999. That's fucking 2 generations. You know, I mean, you're finally sniffing the finals. I'm not saying you're going to win, but you're there. Yeah, it's a generation run because it's probably going to be another generation before they get there again.
Mm.
Go ahead, celebrate. Climb the light poles, you know, torch the cars, you know, to tell everybody how glad you are you're a Knicks fan and how generational this is and how, you know, you've never seen, because you haven't seen it. Maybe your dad, probably your granddad, but yeah, you haven't seen it. You have no fucking clue. So, okay, yeah, generational run for you. Last generational run.
Now, I'm not saying that Knicks fans are bandwagon fans because they're not. They've lived through all of it, and they have the good and the bad, mostly bad.
Some of them are bandwagon fans.
But I love the way that they come out talking with their chest, like they've been these people for years. You know what I mean? Like when Stephen A. Smith came out, it was bloviating about the Knicks being back in the finals. I was like, dude, you have shit on them for half of my life. You have not said a good thing about them. In fact, I remember to this day when Brunson went to New York and Stephen A. was talking about how it was a terrible trade and it wasn't going to amount to anything, that you're putting, you know, Villanova starting 5 back together isn't going to win you a chip in the NBA. And you know, like he was shitting on that. Now he's like, Brunson's my man. Like he's probably going to be in his will. New York fans, they funny.
Last few are from Facebook. Don't want to leave the Facebook crowd out of here.
That's the over 45 crowd.
That all have to, Yeah, it's Facebook,
Me.
so you all have your government name on here.
45.
Jeremiah says this is the East this is the East that LeBron went to the finals 8 years in a row in. It's the kind of competition the Knicks or any team from the East would be playing in the play-in in the West. The East is so bad. This is probably true. Steven Perez, who does in fact have a New York Knicks logo as his profile picture, says, "Yeah, cakewalk, LOL. Cleveland knocked out Boston and beat a 60 what? Cleveland knocked out Boston and beat a 60-win number 1 seed Pistons team in 7 games. But you keep going on with your imagination." Sir, you made up a scenario that did not happen. The Cleveland Cavaliers
Exactly.
knocked out the Boston Celtics.
No.
Steven.
They're just talking about those two teams being out. I don't know. Want to know how I know that Facebook is 45 and over? Because somebody's found a way to comment on LeBron James. Only people 45 and over that wish they were sucking Michael Jordan's dick right now are the only ones that are finding a way. The only ones finding a way to bring up LeBron James in an argument when the Knicks make the finals. They're the only people doing it.
Who's not the GOAT?
They're the only ones.
What was the other video? Oh yeah, so SGA and his foul calls here. Okay. It's back on TikTok here. Christian says it's not a favorable whistle if it's just a foul by the rule book. I've watched every game. This is the game I can say there wasn't a questionable call for Shea. We can talk for other things, but not for Shea. Really, Christian, out of all 17, not one was questionable. Interesting.
He's worse than James Harden, and that saying something.
Yeah. Drew says Wemby had 12 free throws. I don't know why that's relevant to Shea's 17, but okay. Yahoo says, but it's cool when Wemby does it.
What are they talking about?
No. Jay Tino says McCain is SGA 2.0, flopping like crazy. Well, he's learning from the best, so what else do you want him to do?
Okay.
And then I think that was it. Just these ones on TikTok. All right, let's switch gears over to YouTube. What's the easiest way to do this? Go up here. So, new video is out. The Vanishing of James Harden. Thank you to those who have watched it. Dropped your likes, dropped your hype, dropped your stars, dropped whatever you can. If you clicked on the video in any shape, way, or form, thank you so much for watching it and interacting. Yeah, it was almost 90 minutes long, all about James Harden's career and the shortcomings that have just absolutely plagued this career of his. And yeah, there's a bunch of comments here. I'm not gonna be able to read all of them, but some people are just outrageous. I'm just trying to find ones that are worth kind of reading here, and then I do want to kind of talk about one of the more particular things in the video. Yeah, let's start off with Pledge Light. It says, to answer your question, in less than 1 hour of watching this, all caps, all skill, no heart. Daniel says, James Harden is the perfect example of an all-time superstar who shrinks when the lights are brightest. Tyrone Green says, this bull gotta be from the galaxy of choke artists. Shaking my head. You can't make him no more choke artist than James Harden.
Oh, damn.
Chico says, do we blame Maury? Chico? I do partially. Sanok says, and once again, all caps, just 2 words: Ben Simmons. I don't know why that's relevant, but okay.
I mean,
What?
Nets fan is really angry.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
angry. Yeah.
I mean, there's no comp there. There's not. There's no comp.
I don't
I
think
mean,
I don't think he's trying to comp Ben Simmons. I think he's just blaming Ben Simmons for Harden not doing anything in Brooklyn. I think he's just like, fuck Ben Simmons because I'm a Nets fan.
but did Ben Simmons play more than like 3 games with the Nets the whole time he was there?
No, that's probably why
Because
he's so fucking angry about it.
so it's not the Harden's fault. I mean,
Funny.
that he played back. Well, I don't know.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. He mad. He mad, man.
He's not forgetting that.
Man,
Like, dude, that was like 3 teams ago. Move on.
I'm gonna read 2 more here. Some luminescent monk says, "Nah, Dwight Howard looked over at Houston and saw no state income tax. By going to Houston, for every $1 million he made, he kept an additional $125K that California would have taken in income tax. Oh, and yeah, Harden was pretty good back then. Probably."
Okay.
And then Zachary Lee, this is a good segue, says, "Now do the vanishing of Chris Paul," which brings us right to, so Chris Paul was there for 2 years, 17 and 18. And 17 was when he got hurt, or like the playoffs of the 2017-2018 series.
Yeah.
Got hurt in game 5. Houston has to go on the road. They lose game 6 to come back home and lose game 7. Do you guys think if Chris Paul would have been healthy still, didn't hurt his hamstring, that they would have ended up winning one of those 2 games and going to the finals?
This is one of the things I wanted to bring up from your video is I want to even broaden that. If Chris Paul's hamstrings could have held up, does Harden and Booker have a finals ring along with Chris Paul? Because remember, the same damn thing happened in the 2019 finals when we actually got there with the Suns. So Paul's hamstring fails at the wrong goddamn time. But that team, they had the momentum in that series. That was like the year that you saw the trajectory of Harden's career change. And, you know, I don't necessarily, people can talk about that being one of Harden's choke jobs 2017. I don't believe so, because you had to revert back to an offense that wasn't working to get you to where you were at in that moment. Because you had to be the point guard again when he was the point guard, I think, for 4 years in Houston and started scoring a bunch of points. And that wasn't getting them where they needed to be. And then you basically, D'Antoni, like, I don't know, you had to go back to something that wasn't working before. And you're dealing with a team that has already won a few titles. They got Kevin Durant, they got Steph Curry. I felt like that was a tall task for James Harden without Chris Paul to knock them off. Yeah, I do think that the Rockets had a really good shot of going to the finals that year. Had Chris Paul stayed healthy. I do believe that. And maybe we would look at him as the choke job artist that he is, had he at least had 1 ring.
I'm going to say this about that whole thing. They had no chance in hell of beating Golden State. I don't care if they had a full team. They had no chance in hell. It doesn't matter. Curry was going to bring them back and win that series. Curry was going to win it anyway. Curry was going to win it.
You're talking about the same Curry that blew a 3-1 lead to LeBron James. But down 3-2, he was going to beat
As long as Harden was on the team, they would have found a way to exploit it. They would have exploited it, dog. There was no way in hell that they were going to win that series, bro. They're not going to do it.
You're not looking at the rest of Harden's career after that moment and tacking it on to what happened in that series.
I think if Chris Paul was there, they would still lose Game 6 in Oakland. But I honestly think if they were back in Houston in a Game 7, Chris Paul plays, I think they win solely because they had the lead originally. Houston was leading that game going into the second half without him. I would like to think if you add him into the mix, they could have played one more half and won that half with him. Also, I mean, the reason they lost is because they shot themselves out of the game. I would like to think if there was one person that would have talked some sense into everybody, it would have been their floor general and been like, hey, stop fucking shooting 3-pointers. Like, I'll set you guys up. Let me get you an easy look. Let's stop with the
game would have been so different. And he was still one of the best point guards in the NBA at the time.
I just remember sitting in a bar in Vegas, because I was living there at the time, and watching the finals and watching those idiots shoot the ball. And it was a bunch of Houston fans in the bar. And people was like, why are they still shooting? They haven't hit a 3 in so long. I mean, I don't think, as we're watching it back then, I don't think we realized how many threes they were missing in a row. And they didn't stop shooting. That was the sad part.
Chris Paul on the floor.
We don't know that.
I think we do. I think Chris Paul was masterful at setting up great shots. Masterful at it. Right up until the 2019 season. Like after 2019, he was never the same.
Yeah.
With the Suns. But Chris Paul was a great point guard.
Yeah.
And I think that Houston team matched up very well. They were young, they were fast. I think they matched up very well with Golden State with a healthy Chris Paul. The moment he went down and they still won that game and they're up 3-2, I was like, yeah, Golden State is going to win the next 2 games. But if that wasn't a serious injury and Chris Paul was able to play those 2 games, I think it would have ended differently. I think so.
The funny thing was, at the time, pretty sure everyone knew, like, was kind of rooting for Houston to pull through because we wanted the finals to be interesting because Cleveland was waiting there with LeBron on the other side. And we're like, oh, we want to see Cavs, Rockets, because if the Warriors go, we all know it's over. Like, this is
you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And everyone was sick of seeing the Warriors and the Cavs play.
Right. So, like, that was really the finals, was the Western Conference Finals, because it was like, all right, we don't know what's going to happen here. But once it came down to Warriors, Cavs, forget about it.
And, it's not even just that, but, it's also interesting that in Brooklyn, like, nobody was ever healthy at the same time in Brooklyn.
No.
Like, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, even when they got James Harden, fuck you, Ben Simmons, just like that other guy, all caps. If he's watching right now, he's screaming and punching the walls, yelling Ben Simmons.
He is.
On that Brooklyn team, man, like, you talk about the talent they had, and that was still when James Harden could still put up numbers. But I think they played like 17 games together.
Yeah. Like
in a single season. Injuries just decimated him. And then that's when Harden started wearing the fat suit. He was wearing that fat suit a lot. And then he lost it in Philly for like 30 games. But then he got it back. But it's
Blake Griffin was on that team.
He was.
Yeah, Blake Griffin was on that Brooklyn team too.
He was hurt all the time too.
All of them are always fucking hurt, man.
I compared.
Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were more healthy when they played for Brooklyn than any of them jokers. And it started off bad for Brooklyn.
That Nets team.
When Brooklyn brought in KD and Irving, didn't they miss a whole year together?
Yep, they did.
Yeah.
They signed Irving and KD knowing
that they would be out.
That they weren't even.
They missed the whole year. They missed that whole year.
I mean, that made no sense.
Mm-mm.
If you,
man.
I'm sure you guys have heard I mean, it's not just a theory; it's an actual thing. But like women that work together or live together will sync together. There's at their monthly cycle. It's like in sync. I always compare the Nets
Yeah,
to
that's
their
real.
injuries were like the same thing.
Yeah.
They sunk together and
They
they're all
all
just hurt at the same time.
all the goddamn time.
They had an all-star lineup, bro. An all-star lineup.
Yeah. They did.
With guys who had won championships. We're talking about, wasn't there LaMarcus Aldridge on that team? They had Kyrie Irving, who had came off a championship. And then of course they had Kevin Durant, who had came off championship. So Jesus, age Christ.
The only thing that I will say about James Harden is I do not agree with the all-world talent, no heart. Because do you guys really think he didn't want to win?
Yeah.
You think he wasn't trying to win?
Right.
Like it never materialized for him. But do you think he was trying to shrink from a situation? Like he never got small in the sense that he stopped taking those shots. They just didn't go in. Some people have the luck of them going in, like a Dame Lillard and other people. It is also never won. Like Dame's never won a title, but no one talks about Dame not being clutch. You know what I mean? Because he's had some go in it sometimes. He always took the shot, and that takes a lot of guts. The longer you get in your career, and you're still willing to take those shots and still willing to try to do things, it just doesn't work out. It's bad, but I think that's also goes to his style of play in the playoffs. When he got in the playoffs, if he had the same refs when he was in Houston that SGA has right now in Oklahoma, he'd be like a two-time world champ. But back then, like playoff basketball was different, and they weren't blowing whistles, and they figured you out. And he wasn't able to play the normal regular season game that he would normally be able to play, and it got different in the playoffs. So I do think that the one thing I do want to say, Jalen, first of all, kudos on making that video. It's amazing. I think you deserve flowers for that. It's an awesome video. I do want to ask, so for almost 90 minutes of video, how long did it take you to produce that? Because it's, to me, it seems like a lot of fucking work.
For a few hours a day for about a couple weeks. It was pretty much, I was telling June this before we started, but it was done in the Detroit series. And I was just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen because I needed to give it an ending. So I was like, I pray they don't go to the finals because I'm going to have to kind of retool this thing. And then, yeah, but it became
all of a sudden,
clear.
redemption.
Right.
You'd have to put a redemption arc in there. All right, so you probably put in what, like 60 hours?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Into 60, 70 hours in the 90 minutes. That's a lot of work, and that's what I really respect about it, the craft. You did a really great job. The material you brought out, I mean, shit, I even thought the Halo stuff was great. I was waiting for you to mention that he actually thought about leaving college and trying to be a pro Halo player because he did actually consider that, and I thought you were going to say it. I thought you were going to say it, but he really was considering it because he was that good, apparently.
Apparently he still plays.
Somebody else in the NFL, I'm not going to name names, wish that they were that good.
He's
Call of Duty, and maybe. But no, that was a really that was a really great video. You deserve the flowers. Everybody go watch it, like it, comment on it. It's great. Can't wait for the next one.
Coming sooner than you think. That's another one that is about done, all about the San Antonio Aliens. So we'll see what happens there.
You're just waiting for this.
Gotta see what he does.
It's another one you gotta wait to end.
Yeah, so keep your eye out for that one. All right, let's get into Ride or Die in 5 here. Just one game, folks. We're we're that time of the year where the Ride or Die 5 is almost out of season. Very much like a plant where it's like, all right, until next year when the spring rolls around and it blooms again, but it's kind of dying off right now.
It's almost what's up with that time.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Everyone's real favorite segment. So last week we all went 1-1. Thanks, Spurs in Game 3. But hey, didn't go back any further, so that's all we can really hope for. With that being said, we're only picking Game 6 tomorrow night. And I think the easiest way to do this is anybody taking the Thunder to close this out tomorrow night. Okay.
I am not.
Yeah.
I
I was so thinking about it. I was, because they have one there. And you think about it, and you're like, if God damn it, if you guys can't figure out how to have Wemby score 30 points, you're fucked.
Yeah.
I will say this, Jalen, that yes, I am taking San Antonio because fuck Oklahoma City, turquoise bastards. But I do want to say that Nestor, because we didn't go over the records, Nestor is very close. He's up 4 on me right now. It's going to be hard to make up 4 games if the Spurs don't. But if we're betting the same, it makes it even fucking harder. So Nestor has had a very improbable, but impressive run.
I think it's funny. It's come off the back of basketball.
Yeah.
You really whooped my ass in basketball. I was up by quite a bit going into the end of the NFL, and he whooped my ass in basketball once the NFL is over.
So,
ass.
Ride or Die World Cup?
We'll call it the green jacket, Nestor.
Yeah.
Green jacket.
This is the first season that we tracked the individual season records. So we'll see what happens by the end of the finals, but it looks like Nestor will probably come out on top for
Of
the
course,
25-26.
Of course, the first year you do it, Nestor wins it. You and I have been 1 and 2 overall for so long, and then G Money jumped in the number 1 this year. But then all of a sudden, Nestor's like, "Fuck it, guys! I'm gonna start winning some money on Hard Rock." Soon with your minus 14, though. We're gonna
He'll be back. He'll be back next year.
Pull you away a little bit.
Next year's a new start, June.
Man, I thought he was gonna say "shut up, clown." He didn't say it. God damn it! I was trying to get. He hadn't said it this show. I tried so hard to get him to say it.
He's like, I'm not doing it. Locks for this week. You guys have been getting pretty creative with baseball, hockey, F1, horse racing, golf. It's been the whole. Is there a professional pickleball league? Because I'm expecting that to be played next. My lock.
There he is.
I'm just gonna go real quick. I am taking the over on Wemby's dunks tomorrow. It is sitting at 3 right now, and if the Spurs are gonna win this game, he's gonna have to go crazy. And I think a couple lobs from Castle Fox, I think he can get to 4 dunks. I mean, the man literally does not even have to jump, which I don't know. Does that still count as a dunk for him if he's still toes on the ground? If it's
if the hands it's a dunk.
Yeah.
Okay. I sure hope so, because that would say a lot. But anyway, Wemby over 3 dunks tomorrow night.
You know what they say about insanity, Jalen? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, here I am, insane as shit. Fresh off my Mariners, beating the shit out of the Oakland, Sacramento, Los Angeles A's, Las Vegas A's. I don't know why I said Los Angeles. Not only just beating them, but beating them 9-2, 6-1, and 9-1. So we really whooped them to take a half game lead in the AL West. We get to play the Arizona Diamondbacks over the weekend. Now I'm 0 for 2 for picking this godforsaken team to win a fucking 3-game series. But I'm going with it. Taking the Mariners. Win 2 out of 3 against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
All right, where's Frank
Sorry.
when you need him?
Sorry, Frank. Love you, Frank, but I need this. I need to start putting together series wins. We're the only team in Major League Baseball that's leading their division with a losing record, I think. So I need this. I need us to start getting some wins here.
All right, who wants to go next?
I guess I'll take. I got the Braves and the Red Sox tomorrow night. I will take them. I'll take the over of 7.5 runs.
Over 7.5 on the 28th. Okay. Nestor or G Money?
This weekend is Champions League, no F1. So I think PSG, unfortunately, God, I hope I'm wrong. It's partially why I'm doing this vlog. PSG wins over Arsenal in the final, and it's over 1.5 goals. Easy money. Everybody bet on PSG, please.
So are you telling me PSG wins by 2?
Total
Is that what you're
goals in
saying?
the game is
Oh,
over.
total goals. Okay.
Yeah.
1.5. Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that.
Everyone.
For a moment there, I thought you were saying that they were going to win by 2. I'm like, yeah, that could happen, but I don't know. Okay, so mine. If indeed San Antonio is going to win Game 6, these two things have to happen. So it's a parlay. Wemby has to score over 30 points, and Castle has to score over 20.
Damn.
I like one of those. Castle. We'll see. We'll see. They'll be at home.
That's a
They'll be
little.
at home.
Yeah.
All right.
I want San Antonio to win so bad.
Yeah, come on,
that
guys.
even
Y'all
though
gotta
that
win
makes me
tomorrow.
feel like, oh man, that seems like a little bit of a tall task. Please do it. Eat some extra churros tonight. I don't know, somebody.
All
And, you know,
right.
nuns. They got to make sure the nuns get out there
Yes.
again.
They gotta get the
Get those nuns out there, man.
Get it. Yeah, everybody. The nuns, the monks, the priests, everybody you got. Send them that way.
Fly them fake ass monks from Vegas down to San Antonio, put them in hands handing out beads. Do it.
Anything else you guys want to mention before we get up out of here?
I do want to say this. I want to say this about the Cavaliers. And why? And I want to say this. I want to say this about them, and they need to be very careful. And I wanted to mention this earlier. And this is, I was thinking about this, and I meant to say this when I was talking earlier, but it just slipped my mind. So the Cavaliers better watch out for this next year. They got to understand that those teams in the East that was right behind them are going to be better. The Hornets are going to be better. The Bulls are going to be better. Atlanta's going to be better. Orlando's going to be better. What's that?
Miami's not.
Said Miami.
No. Atlanta, all those teams are going to be better. So they have to, if they think that they can win something, they're going to have to go out and sign someone not named LeBron James next year. They're going to have to sign another big name. So they have to think about that next year, because all those teams are going to be better than them, and they better be careful, because I could see them being pushed down to the 8th or 9th seed, being a play-in team next year.
All Dan Gilbert is looking at is that stat that Jalen talked about, is that every team that loses in the conference finals makes it. And that's the only thing he gives a shit. That's Dan Gilbert.
They are the team that's going to be exception to the rule.
We know that well. We know that, but Dan Gilbert is.
History is on our side, boys. Okay. Thank you for that, June. Thank you for that closing remark there. All right. We will see you all next week. Same time, same place during the NBA Finals. So come along with your Spurs and Knicks gear, speaking it into existence.
Yes.
And
Preach.
we will see you all next Wednesday night.
Bless 'em.
Have a good one, and we'll see you all next time.
Peace.
Peace out.